Hello, everybody. Welcome to another slice of DCT podcast, the icing on the career cake, where we really get to know people that are in the workplace, what it is that they're doing, and what's led them to be at that point in their career as well. And today, Diane, our guest will be
Roxanne Stephen. So Roxanne is a newly qualified wedding celebrant. So she's going to come on and share her journey, why she's changed her career into something that she's got a lot of passion and love for.
Lovely. So let's meet Roxanne. Roxanne, thank you so much for coming on today. And just want to start by saying what a lovely, colourful background you've got there. I love that art on the wall. That's
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And yes, thank you. I love my art too. It's actually a tapestry, which is another fabulous thing about it. Lots of somebody's life has gone into creating that piece, and I love it.
That's incredibly special. So, Roxanne, you're newly qualified as a celebrant. Let's start there, right? And people are getting more and more aware of the roles of celebrant through popular TV shows like Married at First Sight. We're suddenly understanding, right, that not all marriages happen in churches. They can happen here, there, and everywhere these days, and sometimes to people that you've never met before. Which is weird. Maybe we'll ask everyone's opinion on that towards the end. But what's the training like to become a celebrant? Because that's something that probably most of us don't understand.
Okay. Yes. So there are several training organizations around in the UK. I trained with the Academy for Modern Celebrancy. And my experience of that training was just absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed every second of it. So a large part of it is, self-driven. You have to be self-motivated. The materials, the coursework, the structure of the program is first class, in my opinion, and I've done a lot of distance learning. So it's akin to distance learning. So you go through a lot of it through your own self-direction, but the support and structures around to get you through that training is, I couldn't fault it for a single second. It becomes very, very quickly a community and a family, because I knew that there was an entire community of people behind me, willing me through every step of it. So that was the feeling of it. The materials, again, in my opinion, first class. And the knowledge that's encompassed in the whole thing. I learned so much, so many things I didn't know about, the different options available for people to be able to, have the wedding that they want, pretty much. And the education behind it all. There was so much to learn that I felt as if for the months that I did my training. So I started my training around about February, and I graduated on the 2nd of July, and I did not want to sleep. I was so energized, feeling so pumped up by
Listen,
everything.
You've done a really good sales job of this. I feel like there's already
I am passionate about it, I have to say.
Already people at home watching this that now want to become a celebrant, right? So maybe you've kind of like overdone it, because you don't want too much competition out there. You said in that, and do you know what? For a start, I want to say, isn't it lovely to hear someone being so passionate about training,
Thank you.
and the quality of training as well, in a world where, frankly, there is a lot of poor training at the moment, and that's probably a podcast that I talk on a different podcast that I talk to the audience about that a lot more. But that is really beautiful to hear that you've really been energized by that training, and that's what good training can
Absolutely.
do. And I know Diane talks about that a lot from her training at McDonald's and whatever over the years, where she was involved in training as well. So
yeah,
it's wonderful to hear that. But you talked in there about you were surprised at the sort of variety and the ways in which people can get married these days. Talk us through some of that.
Okay, so the underneath it all is this thing about giving people more choice about how they do their wedding. And it doesn't have to be a wedding. It could be any important celebration, any important occasion, any important life occasion. In my case, I'm currently, qualified to do weddings and vow renewals, and I suppose special celebrations. There are other things that I'm going to go on to do. In terms of how people can choose, so people choose, for example, to involve their loved ones more widely. People choose what words are said. People choose to create their entire ceremony in the way that they want to. So whether this be in their living room or in the back garden or in a fancy venue, and it doesn't have to be it isn't bland. And forgive me, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. So it is not, they're not limited to what is in that ceremony, and they're not restricted to something that they have to have, i.e. the legal element, the legal bit, the legal words, those, I suppose, phrases and things that, for example, a registrar has to say. They can absolutely pour themselves into what their ceremony says. So what most people want is for their ceremony to resemble them. So their guests at the end, what people want ultimately in the end, for their guests to be thinking, that was so you know, and whatever that means. So for example, you might have people who are from lots of diversity. So there might be people from mixed cultures, and they want to bring their culture, their mixed culture, into that ceremony and kind of blend it. So a celebrant-led wedding allows that and enables that very, very much. So basically, it's whatever people want to have in there. They might also want, if two people are coming together and they already have families and they want to blend those families, the kind of ceremony that I can offer to people can help them to do that. And, I would work with the couple to make that happen in the way that they really want it to happen. So
sorry, go on, Roxanne.
No, I was going to say, so that is just an example. I've mentioned, blending cultures, but it could also be, people of, it can be all sorts of people, all kinds of people, basically how they want it, where they want it, when they want it.
Amazing. So what did you do before you were a celebrant? Like what was your career before then?
That is a good question, because what I am still doing as well as being a celebrant. So I also have a full-time job. So being a celebrant for me at the moment, it's a part-time thing. So it's a side hustle, but I'm incredibly serious about it. I'm incredibly passionate about it. I also work full-time in another very responsible occupation. I work for a regulator. I work for the Information Commissioner's Office, and they're aware of it all. They're aware of what I do, and they have approved of what I'm doing. So this is not something I'm doing kind of quietly or on the side in secret or anything like that. So yeah, I very much go to work in a full-time job.
I'm just waiting for you to get a client who wants to get married in that office. I want to get married in the regulatory office. Yeah,
that'd be an interesting one. That would be a different kind of conversation that I would have to have with them. But yeah,
wow.
So I am incredibly busy, and by choice. I love my full-time job because in a different way I help people as well. But this is helping people about getting things right, a particular kind of thing right in their business, i.e. data protection. So that's what I do for my day job. And then my celebrant job I do in my spare time, which at the moment happens to be Fridays and weekends.
Well, that's one of the things we're always quite interested in on this podcast, isn't it, Diane, which is transferable skills. So what do you feel like transfers over between the two?
Oh my goodness. For me, the biggest thing is I just cannot help myself helping people. Basically, that is it. Serving people, helping them to do something right, whether that's right because the law requires them to, or whether that's right because it's right for them. So that's my number one driver. It's this way of just helping people to fix something and make it right for them. In terms of transferable skills, well, when I go to work in my full-time job, I am listening to people, I am listening to their issues, I am helping them through having that conversation with them to help them come to the best solution for them. And it's no different with a couple who has the big question, we want to get married, but at this point in time, we haven't a clue where to start, what to do, how to make it all happen. So to me, it's the same kind of listening skills, and talking, helping people to talk through, helping people to kind of move from a point where, oh gosh, we're totally befuddled about this, to yes, now I understand. These are the possibilities, and just helping people to open up that space, being creative. I think that is one of my greatest joys when it comes to being a celebrant, the capacity for being creative, because with celebrancy and with celebrant-led life events, nothing is off the table.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah. So the creativity space is huge.
Right. Hence the art and stuff on the wall behind you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you know with that, Roxanne, is there a time limit that you can have for a ceremony then, or do you have a time restriction if it's off limits?
You're kind of, I'm going to use the word typical, but there's nothing typical about the celebrant-led wedding, because every single one is different. But typically, using that word with air quotes, a celebrant-led ceremony would last half an hour to 45 minutes. Now, that is a long time for a congregation, for your guests to kind of sit still. So with that in mind, that's the kind of guide time frame we work to, but it depends on the couple and what they want, and that's a conversation, and that's a conversation we have, and all sorts of things are included in that conversation, but typically 30 minutes to 45.
It's quite interesting, actually, because even in church ceremonies. I'm going to bring some stats up in a minute about that. But even in church ceremonies, they've got shorter over the years, typically as well. Whereas,
Absolutely.
I mean, let's face it, years ago, you used to go to a wedding in a church and you could be there for hours, right? Because someone will do a sermon and they will do the sermon for an hour and a half. And they thought maybe this is our opportunity to, convert a few people while they're there, etc. But I feel like even the church has come around to realizing that, it's as you say, a long time to keep people, focused or whatever. Mind you, does that say something about us as humans, that we're getting worse at
well, I think focus, or the ability and the capacity to focus, is perhaps diminishing. But I think that gosh, if I were to make a comparison in between, a long drawn out ceremony that's got nothing to do with the people that are important in this, as opposed to a 30-minute ceremony that absolutely reflects that couple, absolutely reflects who they are. It's about what they want. I know what I would choose every time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right. Does anybody know from going back the last few decades what the sort of approximate figures are in terms of sort of dominant church weddings and then non-religious ceremonies? Do you know this?
No, I'm afraid I should do, but I have to be honest, I don't know. And
okay. I'm going to give you some now. So 1960s, early 1960s, it was about even then it was about 50-50. So 50% in the UK, 50% of weddings were church weddings dominant, and then 50% were non-religious civil ceremonies. Right. By 2005, the non-religious civil ceremonies had risen to 65%. By 2020, which is the last time we've got figures from the Office of National Statistics, it's 85% or more.
Okay.
Massive shift.
That's a massive shift. And when I suppose I would have a question, and this is some homework I'm going to go and do. When you talk about civil ceremonies, are you meaning particularly, registrar, for example, registrar-led ceremonies? Are you meaning the legal element of the ceremony? Is that what you're meaning?
I think, it will probably only have stats given in Office of National Statistics. It will probably only have like the registration bit, as opposed to it coming through the paperwork of various churches. So it's probably that, but it probably gives an indication as to how many ceremonies have gone to like registration, and then someone having a celebrant based rejoicing of the fact that someone's got married. I know from my own family, like my eldest is now at a stage with his partner where they're considering getting married, and they are thinking about doing the registration bit literally with like 2 people there, and it will take 15 minutes, and then they are going to have a celebrant.
Yes, absolutely.
In the middle of a field somewhere in
Well,
Yorkshire.
this is absolutely it. And I'm so glad you mentioned though that there are 2 parts to this. So the legal part absolutely has to happen, whether that is before or after the celebrant led ceremony celebration bit. The legal part has to happen. So I just didn't want to give the impression that that's forgotten. It has to happen. And it's down to the couple whether they do that before or after the celebrant led event. But yes,
I think the beauty of it is the personalization of the ceremony, isn't it? And I think the way the world's adapted is that everybody is unique and everybody, wants to be treated how they want to be treated, and we don't have to always follow a set agenda. So that flexibility of choice and being able to bring in your own personal values or what traditions, and that's the beauty of what you do, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And the the extent to which people can really create their ceremony precisely. You've mentioned all of those things: values, culture, all of those things. It's just huge. It's just absolutely massive, and people are now more and more wanting to do that. I don't know if you had this question in your lineup for me, but I don't know if you're aware of there's a proposed overhaul in England and Wales to the marriage law, which is now is a conversation that's now kind of bubbling up, and we're really excited about it because so and I've actually kind of glancing down because I took some time to make some notes about this morning. So it's basically about giving couples more freedom about how they get married and shifting the legal focus from, a wedding or a marriage having to take place, for example, in a church or in a registry office. It's trying to shift the focus from the place to who does it and where it's done. Kind of the choice, more choice given to the couples. So that's a conversation that's about to kind of become very much out there.
Interesting. That's really interesting. One of the things that I've just looked up, which is really quite interesting, is some of the more unusual wedding ceremonies that have taken place with celebrants helping that to happen, and that have been sort of like in the paper and things like that. One is there's been a kind of trend where people have, rather than having close friends come, they've done witness lottery or surprise witnesses, where they've literally gamified who will turn up at their wedding. That's interesting. And another thing which apparently is quite popular is recreating popular culture moments. So actually, creating sort of maybe a sort of Harry Potter wedding or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
You come across.
Yes. Themed. I suppose my kind of the way I would kind of think about that to kind of help me think about, I would call it a themed thing. Pretty much. You dress up as your favorite. I don't know.
So Roxanne, you might get like a Star Wars wedding, and you'll have to dress up as
absolutely. Star Wars, absolutely. And I know
Darth Vader marries a stormtrooper. absolutely. And I have a celebrant colleague who is one of my in my world of celebrants. It's one of the stars for me up there. And I have a whole lot of respect for this this lady. She's also a mentor in the AMC, and she is an avid Star Wars fan. So I wouldn't be surprised if she hasn't already done one of those, and I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see her do it in the future. But yes, it can be pretty much themed to whatever you want. And yes, all of these, as you've called them, all of these are happening at the moment. People are doing them, and why
What's
not?
What's the most unusual that you've heard of in the time that you've been in this world? What's the most unusual ceremony you've heard?
Unusual ones that I have heard. I think it must be kind of festival type weddings where people actually get wed in the middle of a festival.
I've seen that happen.
Yes, and to me that is absolutely as a celebrant. I know that doing it would absolutely be fun, but at the same time, gosh, that is a big arena,
Having said that, I understand that in a way, because I mean, I used to be chair of the Festival Radio Association. We used to do radio at different festivals, and for a lot of people, festivals have a quite a spiritual nature to them.
Yeah.
So I can really understand that.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, a particular festival actually becomes very much like their spiritual home. So
Yes.
Imagine inviting someone out to the wedding and say they just have to buy their festival ticket. Like, they'd be the cheapest wedding night you'd have to host, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I think somewhere fairly recently I've heard of a couple who they got married in South America somewhere, and then delayed everything, waited and waited until they could come to Glastonbury.
Yep.
To have their celebrant-led event with a very famous celebrant who her focus is the festival scene. So she's almost like the queen of festival weddings and things like that. So yes.
Wouldn't it be absolutely cool though if you knew a musician that was, a famous musician, and you could literally, in the middle of their set, get them to stop and do something? That'd be marvelous.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one to do. That would be an interesting one to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, who do I know?
I know someone that's played Glastonbury stage several times, so yeah, probably get that to happen if we really needed to. But
what do you think your niche will be then, Roxanne? What would your niche be?
I am still working on these things, and I think that as a new celebrant, not yet done my first wedding. I think I've got to test everything out. I've got to try. I've got to be quite open in the beginning to what I do. Ultimately, my aim is high end. So I love the kind of like really getting really glamorous and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So I am going to be pulled, and I hope that they are pulled to me, because it is about who kind of feels that I gel with them, I guess. So yes, it's people who love the glamour and love the high end. I'd be really interested to do that sort of work.
Yeah.
Is there I mean, you've obviously got pictures depicting a completely different culture in the background. Is there a sort of niche around sort of like different languages or perhaps different cultural based weddings as well?
Well, do you know what? There are several celebrants who are multilingual. So that's happening now. Celebrants are doing, working, providing services for couples who speak different languages.
Yep.
Both parties speak a different language, and the celebrant is kind of doing it all somehow or other. And in many cases, it's because they actually can speak these language. In other cases, they have to find ways to make it work. And again, this is a part of the beautiful capacity for being creative about how you get something done. In terms of what was that question about? The fact that I've got
culture,
a different kind of culture going on here.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of cultural reference points in maybe like a traditional English wedding, right?
Yeah.
But is there room for like people to bring in, like, now that we're a very multicultural nation, is there more room to bring in sort of like different cultures into the UK weddings as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, this is one of the strongest elements of engaging with the celebrant to help with creating the ceremony of your choice. So yes, you know, people can choose to go full on cultural immersion, or people can choose to just do a nod. So it might be, for example, let me see if I can think. So in my a part of my training, one of the scenarios that I needed to work with had a New Zealand person, a person from New Zealand, a person from Cornwall, and the scenario was to create this ceremony for them, and they both wanted a bits of their culture in. And in that scenario, what I did was bring several different elements of Cornish culture and New Zealand culture into that ceremony, but also not only bringing the different elements in, taking on board as well the couples, their values as well. So they were big into environmental sustainability and things of that nature. So bringing all that on board into the ceremony, and also you know, involving so like, you know, the elders in the Kiwi family, you know, involving them, because again, paying that homage to the elders is really important in that culture. So yeah, so this is an example of how you know, a couple might do things like that. So yes, to kind of answer your question, yes, there is absolutely room for bringing little bits of different cultures into a traditional
Quite
English.
interesting idea of bringing like Cornish culture together with New Zealand. You have like a whole load of muscular guys doing some kind of
I was also like, thought that would be like
while someone creates a Cornish pasty.
Well, there was all sorts, you know what, and I would absolutely love to in reality do a ceremony of that nature. But yeah, my creative license went a little bit ran riot with that one. But you know what, it worked, and it can work, and that was just an example. And I hope I haven't actually got myself in trouble there talking about that. I don't believe so, because I haven't named any names, you know.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, these are just ways in which an example of ways that, you know, these things can be done. And it really doesn't matter at all. It matters, but it matters who the people are, obviously, but it doesn't matter what they want. It can be done. And it's absolutely fine to do it, whether they want to do it on a kind of large scale or just a nod.
Do you think when you said within your training that you learn so much about different things, would you say that's like one of the biggest learns, that you learn so much about different traditions and different cultures and different ways of being creative? Yeah,
absolutely. I had to learn about different cultures, and you know, things like you know, I never before that would have been able to imagine, for example, a Sri Lankan wedding ceremony. If you have time at some point, take a look at it. It's massive, it's huge, but it's absolutely beautiful. And you know, I fell in love with Sri Lankan wedding culture, and then realized that actually I've got about 3 or 4 Sri Lankan friends. Why haven't we talked about this before, you know? So yes, I had to learn a lot about different cultures. And it really does help with when I get down to creating that ceremony, it really does help me with that creative process, because my thought process is now, it's not restricted at all to what might be in that ceremony. So long as at the end of it and working through it, my couple is signing it off, and they're happy, and it is representing them, who they are, where they're coming from, and for that matter, where they're going in terms of their couple goals and things like that.
Yeah.
Just following on from there, and this is a big question, and
Uh-huh.
I'll throw it out to both of you. With traditional church weddings, there still is, and I guess it was probably more prominent in the past, but there still is the need to, if you get married in a church, to go to church so many times beforehand, to have your banns read out. You need to go to couples guidance beforehand within the church, where they sort of discuss the importance of marriage and whatever with you, and then there's normally some follow-up afterwards. Is that part of your role at all, or do you, if not, do you feel like there are more modern ways in which we need to perhaps link up services so that people are getting kind of that support going in and coming out of marriage as well as the part of the ceremony?
Okay. So as far as a celebrant-led wedding is concerned, so yes, a celebrant will obviously guide a couple. So it's about the question, I suppose, what can we have? Or if the couple doesn't have an idea already and they're coming to me or any celebrant with the question, what can we do? What can we have? Well, the answer is really short. Whatever you want. But, I can and we can give them some guidance around, okay, so I suppose what they want will be governed by a few things, budget is one, I guess. What do you value? What do you want? Do you helping them to open up that conversation. And whenever when they've kind of started their thought process, I will absolutely guide them through that process and provide, suggest and talk through and peel the layers back to just kind of get down to, right, what is it you want? What is it you're having? In terms of if a couple is coming to a celebrant, they are not thinking about a church or a church wedding. So that conversation is unlikely to be one that we are involved with. The registry office, absolutely, because, there might be occasion when actually you need to remind the couple that is a must. You must do that. It doesn't matter where you're having your celebrant-led wedding, whether that's in the UK or abroad, which of course, is another, destination weddings are another big, big thing in the world of celebrant-led wedding. But so doing the legal part, which is where the registrar and the registry office comes in, that is a must do. They can't get away from that. And yes, I dare say that if they haven't done it already, and if maybe they don't know what to do, we can, and do give some guidance on that. But in the celebrant process,
but there's no guidance on actual what marriage means and the responsibility to each other or whatever within the celebrant process, etc.
No, that is not something that we will stipulate, because for us is what it means to them.
But is there what I'm saying is there an opportunity for celebrants, for example, to work maybe with like relationship coaches or whatever to like, you know, help that couple? Because, you know, what you get married, but then that's the start, right?
Yeah.
Of that process. But actually making that relationship work is, you know, that's something.
I think that's a totally different sort of territory. That is a different territory that I haven't got the level of experience that I need to be able to talk intelligently and intelligently about that. And also I don't want to make anything up that isn't true as well. But in my opinion, that would be a totally different territory and not about a celebrant-led wedding. Or
I was just going to say that I think that takes away the difference of them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I get where you're coming from, Graham. Like, you know, where's the preparation to say, oh, you know, are you ready for this commitment? Are you ready for this relationship? That's where you're coming from. But that's the difference of the celebrant, I guess, isn't it? That it's about being, you know, choice of freedom and being about you and being unique. So that could maybe overshadow what it is. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's because people have so many ways of how to be in their relationships, you know what I mean? So you know, a couple might not even decide to have, they might not even decide that they want to be legally married, but they want to celebrate their union as a couple.
I brought it up partly because I feel it's great to really unmystify what the celebrant actually does.
Yeah.
Right? Because it may be that some people's expectations of what a celebrant will do in that situation are more than the celebrant will actually be able to do. You're not there to take people through that kind of spiritual, emotional journey.
No, I don't think a celebrant does marriage guidance or spiritual and emotional counseling for the purpose of making their marriage firm and secure. Of course, if a couple in the conversation about, right, what is your ceremony going to be, if a couple is having all questions about the ceremony and the things around the ceremony, the things are about making the ceremony happen and making it be the happy occasion, the practicalities, absolutely, we will help with that, the practicalities, and that might be around communicating with all the adjacent suppliers, the venue, the planner, those peripheral things that help it all come together. But
I hear what you're saying. I mean, I think that's probably one of the most misunderstood things, which is that we can just get married anywhere. You can't just get married anywhere. You have to, with certain places, you have to seek the permission of that place or of that organization in order to get married there. Yeah, you can't just.
So are you talking about whether a venue is licensed or not? Is that
no?
The question?
Regardless of whether you're licensed for a marriage ceremony or not, to turn up on public land and do anything, you may need to actually seek permission to do something on public land.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. So I suppose that if somebody wanted to get married in, I don't know, any particular
a national trust,
then you probably need to have, if it wasn't a licensed venue, let's say, and you just wanted to go in the middle of some land in the Peak District somewhere, a conversation with the local authority, the relevant local authority, is likely to need to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, but again, I don't think, I feel as if that is not the question you kind of were asking originally. You were asking about giving, almost asking the couple to justify their preparedness to be married to each other. That is the question I heard when you initially asked, and is that right?
Oh yeah, and then we kind of
Then
moved
we
on
kind of
from there.
segued. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're definitely talking about two different things. That's okay.
Definitely talking about two different things. Yeah. You need to do your first wedding.
Yeah.
I do. And
Okay.
I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Okay. So where exactly are you based? And if there's somebody watching this, and they want you now, Roxanne, to do it, what
Yes.
should they do to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So I am based in Knutsford in Cheshire. And so I mentioned right at the beginning, right at the start, that I'm doing all my setup, all my business setup. That includes my website. My website is in development. So, although I've got a web address, nobody will see anything if they go there now. But I am on social. So I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, and I've got my hello@roxannestephencelebrant.co.uk email address. Drop me an email, drop me a message on Instagram or Facebook, Roxanne Stephen Celebrant, and that is how you can get in touch. And my telephone number as well. I don't know if I say it loud out on here or what, but
well, what we'll do, Roxanne, is when this goes out, well, if you send me all of your different details, and we will make sure that the links to that are on this when it goes out. So if people, you want to get hold of Roxanne, you want Roxanne.
Roxanne.
You know what? It's ages since anyone did that. That used to be quite a thing. Oh my goodness! Oh no, you're not going to sing that song.
She's not going to put out your red light, but she might do your ceremony for you. Like
oh gosh, yeah. I mean, the other thing is, obviously, this is more and more people are becoming aware, and people have questions, and even if it's just questions for now, you want to find out a little bit more, you have your own questions. Yeah, I'm absolutely open to having a chat with you, without it being a scenario where you're in an obligation to to be wanting to book me right now. If you just have some questions, that's cool. I'm happy to have a chat.
Yeah.
Roxanne, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Hey? You might be inundated after this.
Oh gosh, well, chance would be a fine thing. I am ready. I am ready.
There you go. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for shedding light on an industry that perhaps we didn't know an awful lot about. So thank you so much for coming and telling us about your journey. I hope that's inspired people as well. You can go from being in an office looking at people's data to being out in a field celebrating their wedding.
Absolutely, being incredibly creative, making people happy. That is the bottom line.
But that's
making people happy.
Making people happy, but that's the important thing yet again that we've shown on this program, which is that actually some skills are very transferable. And when you're looking at a career, Diane will back me up on this, when you're looking at a career out there, don't limit yourself necessarily by where you are and what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of other things you might be able to do out there. And if you're not sure what your transferable skills might be able to give you, go and speak to someone like Diane. She'll be able to talk you through your CV and what you've done in the past and your experience, and say, well, actually, they're calling out for a load of them over here. And it might be with a little bit of retraining, as Roxanne has done, that might be the start of a whole new adventure for you. We will be back soon with more icing on the career cake. Oh, actually, I didn't ask you right at the start, and I should have done.
I did spot that.
Roxanne, okay, but we'll do it the other way around. What kind of icing are you?
Oh gosh, do you know what? I am full of flavors. I am full of flavors. So yes.
I love that.
Full of flavors, joyful ones,
That's
joyful
one of my
flavors.
favorite answers yet. Full of flavors icing. We'll be back soon with more icing on the career cake from DCT. Until then, from Diane and Roxanne and myself, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.